here. Please raise your hand and let me know because what we have to teach today, or what I want to share today, may take some time, and I might not be able to take a question after the session because it's something that is very dear to my heart, and I think that you will need. Zainab from Ikeja, you are welcome. Ineka in Lagos, you're welcome. Okay, anybody, you have any question for me that you think I need to know or I can answer? Please raise your hand and ask now. Okay, Moniola, Monelo Chan. Yes,
You
you have
said
to.
right. Thank you. Thank you, EF. I've been working through the tree of life and the jar of life
Mhm.
and trying to make sense in terms of when I would use them with the client. So I understand that the tree of life is where I get to know the client and
Mhm.
bypass their, he says, bypass something consciousness. So it's where I really get to know their level of self-esteem and their happiness. Then
Yeah.
would I make them fill in the jar of life the same time that I make them do the tree of life? At what point do I then go to the jar of life?
Okay, thank you very much. Good question. Truth is, sometimes you don't need the two, you only need to use one because both of them point in the same direction. I always insist that when you're starting a session with your client, ensure that, in fact, the first two sessions, you must do your tree of life, right? Tree of life and patterning, especially, because tree of life helps you know their trauma areas, helps you know what they're dealing with, help you know some of the challenges they're having, and their frustrations, borderline depression, their happiness index. It shows you that. Now, patterning is checking, getting them to talk to people that knew them. So, for example, ask them to look for maybe 2 to 5 people that knew them between age 0 to 5, another people that knew them between 6 to 10, another group that knew them between 11 to 16, 17 to 22, 23 to 30, 31 to 40, thereabout, right? And let them ask questions to know what was their perception of them at those different age ranges. Who were they? What did they see? Both good and bad, right? And because those things helps you know whether their character had been consistent over a period of time or something happened. So take for instance, someone gets feedback like between age 0 to 5, you were precocious, playful, extroverted, 6 to 10, extroverted, all over the place, and then you get to 11 to 16, and it says, oh, she became very introverted. You want to ask questions that what happened between that age ring that elicited that behavior, right? So you want to zone in on that, and that will confirm the left side of the tree of life, which is the trauma point, right? And so, but then sometimes when you are dealing with a case where it's husband and wife, right? So let's say that the husband maybe is cheating or infidelity or some bad behavior that the wife doesn't want anymore, right? That's when you bring in jar of life. Jar of life helps the other pattern to appreciate, to extend empathy as against judgment, to say, okay, see this person. If you were born this way, if you grew up under these circumstances, and you went through this upbringing, environment, significant emotional experience, who do you think you would be? Maybe you'll be acting exactly like him. So, what do we want to do? How long do you think it will take us to assist this person overcome this challenge? So basically, that's when you. So if I'm not working with a couple together, especially when they have infidelity issues or some domestic issues, I hardly will use jar of life. Yeah, how that is clear. Good. Any other question before we get into today? Lavender, show your face. Why are you covering your face? The lavender. Bulomo, let me be seeing your face so that I can draw inspiration. Sarah, yes.
Uh, Good morning from here. Once again, thank you for this opportunity every time.
Good
So my
morning. Where
question
are you
is,
from? Sorry, where are you from?
um, in Washington State, specifically 2 hours before
Oh, okay.
Seattle. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
it's morning here, 11:07
Oh,
a.m.
okay.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just graduated from the FSC program,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to bring some structure into the relationship and marriage program that we do.
Yes.
So interestingly, the church that we attend here in Washington State, they anytime we have conversation around relationship and marriage, they kind of take interest in what we do and the approach that we bring in, like looking for the pattern and the family of origin and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
now the challenge is actually pricing our services because we also serve people in Nigeria. So we are,
Mhm.
I'm in this middle point of saying, okay, I don't want to overprice people that are in Nigeria and also underprice for people that might want to partake in that service here in North America, because
Mhm.
they can look at it and say, oh, this is too cheap. We don't think you're offering something that is
Yeah.
valuable. And then people in Nigeria can look at it and say, oh, this is too outrageous. It is not what we can afford. So I'm just curious to know what advice would you give and how can we navigate that path? Is there a middle point or what can we do going forward?
Um, Good question. I think I have the same problem because so I have two programs, for example. I mean, and I'll tell you how we resolved it. So there's Ready for Life. Ready for Life, it's mentoring children from ages 8 to 18. That was what it
Mm.
was. It was $100 per month in America, right? But Nigeria, I think it was 15,000 per child in Nigeria. It was a problem,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And the challenge was the facilitators for America, they are living in America, we pay them in dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so the client does not understand that. So how we
Mm.
solved that problem was we killed Ready for Life in America. And then we created what's it called now? We created Legacy Hub, right? So the Pro 2 programs don't have the same name, they don't have the same curriculum. So we created Legacy
Mm.
Hub. So
Mm.
Legacy Hub is run, in fact, Legacy Hub started their first in fact, we changed the format in Nigeria is 3 semesters per year. Legacy Hub, we created basic and advanced program, 13 weeks each, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
$100 per month, or if you
Mm.
want to pay one time, $250, right? So that way, when people are seeing us advertise Legacy Hub, they don't relate it to Ready for Life. Do you understand?
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the
Mm.
other pathway to do this thing is to go the route of what's it called? Onboarding clarity session. Now, I'll
Mm.
tell you how that works. So you can say to your people that for them to work with you, you have to take them through a free clarity session, 15 minutes to 20 minutes thereabout. Right.
Mm.
On that clarity session, what is sacrosanct is your assessment. Assessment is sacrosanct, right? And
Mm.
so for the assessment, in America, I charge $250 for the assessment. I don't even
Mm.
bother about it, right? $250 is
Mm.
what I charge. But sometimes I'm dealing with some clients from Nigeria, right? You can't charge
Mm.
them $250, right? So
No.
what I do for the people in Nigeria is some of them can't even pay equivalent of $250 for assessment, all right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I have on my Calendly, I have free clarity session that is 15 minutes. So when they come into, people jump on those free clarity session. So when I sit
Mm.
with, I'm able to size them up. I know the country they are from. I have an idea of
Mm.
what they're able to pay. And
Mm.
so I would say to them, oh, this is what your session costs. Some of them will tell you how they kind of, what can you afford? So when they tell me what they can afford, I already have service providers in Nigeria that I can quickly talk to and say, okay, you run assessment. Are you willing to take this amount for this assessment? Oh, are you willing to coach this couple for 3? For example,
Mm.
I will not personally do any job that is less than 5 million naira. I will not do it
Mm.
personally,
Mm.
directly. I will not do
Mm.
it. Right? If it's
Mm.
less than that, I will not do it. So sometimes I get jobs for 500,000, 300,000, 1 million, and blah, blah, blah. I look for people in fact, the office in Nigeria, I throw it at them to say, you guys are the ones that
Mm.
have this kind of numbers. And so they find coaches that can work with those clients, right? Because
Mm.
if you're paying your bills in dollars, I
Ah,
mean,
it's a
so
lot.
if they pay you, somebody pays you 2 million in Nigeria, they think they've done you a lot of favor. But how
Yes,
much is
sir.
4 million by the time you come? It's less than $1,500, right?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't
Yes,
even
sir.
cover anything. And then you are going to spend how many hours with how many weeks with them, right? In fact, some of them, by the time you are doing their second session, you already spend their money. And you are still going to say,
Exactly.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
what you can do is have partnerships with the people in Nigeria, and
Okay.
so that they can help you execute, and then you will make something little, maybe 100,000 or 200,000. But then you know that the burden of and time difference is another problem. You know, you don't
Yes,
want them
sir.
picking you up in the middle of the. Somebody called me yesterday, sent me a message. Some guy from my school, alumni, and I didn't respond. And the guy got upset. He said, "You have become too big now. You don't respond." So I had to, when I woke up, I saw it. I had to say to him, for starters, I'm 6 hours away from you. You can't assume that your
Mm-hmm.
night is my night. You are
Mm-hmm.
texting me at the time I'm at work. People
Mm.
just assume that we are able to hold our phone in America and do the kind of things they do over there.
Exactly, sir.
So I had to tell
Exactly.
him, please don't ever do this thing with me anymore. Right?
Mm.
So important for you to understand the optics of where you operate from and be able to. So the clarity session on with Calendly helps you. So when they are already on the call, you can figure out where they are from. Sometimes I
Yeah.
ask, but other times I know this is an American, I know this is a
Mm-hmm.
British person, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
you are able to say, okay, what I said to them is, we need to run an assessment. It's $250. If the person is
Mm.
an American,
Does that
or
include debriefing, sir? Like the
yes,
debriefing
yes,
session as well?
yes,
Okay, sir.
yes. From assessment to analysis to sending the report, and a one session of debriefing, right? So
Okay.
$250.
Okay.
And then I mean, we'll write the report and everything. Now, when their report comes back, we now sit down. I now go through it with them. Now, typically, I ensure that, and that's something that will be a game changer for you if you operate in the West. The problem they have, many of them have, haven't gone through other therapy before, is that the therapists in this part of the world, they never tell you at what point or how long it's going to take for them to discharge you. You only
Yes,
know when
sir.
you enter. You don't know when you are going to exit. So people can
Mm-hmm.
be in therapy for
True.
7 years, right?
Yes.
And
That
so I
makes.
tell you that maximum time I'm going to spend with you is 13 weeks. 13
Mm.
weeks. Any problem I can resolve in 13 weeks, I won't take it on. Right?
Mm.
And so
Mm.
in 13 weeks, and I'll explain that in these 13 weeks, if we discover any other issue that require maybe a trauma specialist, you won't have to go and to another place. We have them in the house that will work with you one-on-one.
Mm. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
way, I'm able to charge and say, maybe your fee is $3,500 or $5,000. Now,
Mm.
clients don't have a problem paying; they want ease of payment. So, if you now say to them, "How, what will be convenient for you to pay monthly?" Right? If you live in America, you don't have to worry, or you live in the UK, you don't have to worry. When they slot in their card, you know that they can do direct debits
Yeah.
consistently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you can work with them. And so, in like 2 years ago, I had completed a lot of work and I had lots of people owing me. So every month,
Wow.
if it's $250 or $500 they want to pay, it just comes in. So it frees me, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? And I always love it in America when people owe me a lot of money because that,
Because you can
you
be
know,
sure it's coming, unlike
yeah,
Nigeria.
because that's the same way America collects money from you. They $20 here,
Yes.
dollars here, and all those kind
Yes,
of things.
sir.
Right. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
how to handle those kind of issues. So you do not want to get into that situation where you now have to be converting.
Mm.
And the interesting thing is that don't compromise your pricing, right? Put your American pricing. Now, when the Nigerians meet with you and they say you are expensive, when you now ask them, okay, what if I give you a discount? So let's say you are charging $3,200 and they now come to you and we can't afford it. So you ask them, what can you afford? Default,
Mm.
because you're already charging $3,200, they can't start pricing you from 500,000. They will
Yes, sir.
respect themselves enough to say, okay, my total budget is
Mm.
1 million. My total
Mm.
budget is 1.5 million. That way,
Mm. Mm.
right, you can now
Yeah.
decide whether you want to do that job or you don't want to do that job. But because I run an American company and I run a Nigerian company and I've separated them, I mean, it's Nigerian company, they charge the way they want to charge. Even they will also in our Nigerian office, for example, once the fee is less than $500,000, they won't do it. They will send it to our NGO. So we have a structure in the NGO space. Their CEO is looking at me now. We send it to the NGO. Let the NGO, because that's not for profit. Not for profit does not mean it's free. It only means it's highly discounted. Do you understand? So if it's a 400,000 job, 200K job, we can send it to the NGO. Let them be battling with. They also have a framework and structures in there. So the most important thing is structures that can support whatever you do. But you are dealing with a global audience. They understand dollars. So don't reduce your fees, especially if you live in America. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Victoria, I think I can see you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what's your question?
Okay. We can ask any question, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I have this couple that I've been working with, and the issue is the wife is saying she has sacrificed so much for the marriage. She married very early and looking as if she's suffocating in the marriage now. And then she's kind of have so many attitudes coming up there, here and there. Then in the other part, the husband is feeling this woman does not respect me, does not honor me. And then we try to have this conversation, but then the wife mind is very, very close. He's not opening up to say what exactly is our problem so that we can solve this thing. So I don't know how to get her to talk more and open up so that we can get this
Have you
over.
run the assessment?
No.
So if you're not running any assessment, there is no point talking to them. You're just going to waste your time. And you're going to be subjective because none of them is going to tell you the truth. Everybody will tell you the truth that appeals to them. That's why we run assessment. When you run assessment, you're able to objectively and with a data-driven methodology look at what is, because the real problem is not what they are telling you. The real problem may be existing before the marriage. And I see a lot of clients, like, in fact, that's why I'm teaching you what I'm about to teach you tonight. I see a lot of clients whose problem is really family patterns, right? But they don't see it. They will be blaming the husband, they will be blaming the wife, they will be blaming somebody. But the real issues they are dealing with predated the marriage, right? And so how do you even tell them that when you have not run assessment, right? And so a lot of people go through all kinds of stuff, and there's a limit to what you can do. So if you have not run any assessment, you've not done the tree of life, for example. Tree of life helps you know the trauma points. If you have not done that, it becomes very tough. You will just be reduced to an advisor, and that's the wrong place. It's a waste of time, a waste of your life. We just waste a lot of things for you, and you don't want to be there at all. So I would recommend that you run them through a proper assessment. The assessment does not lie. By the time you are doing their debrief, they will see their lives on 3D, on 4D. And then they usually, when you do assessment and you do the debrief, everybody becomes humble, including the arrogant person. So so that's what I think you should do.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, legacy conscious.
Good evening from Abuja. Thank you so much, sir, for doing this with us. So I had a client bring up a situation to me, and I don't know. I wanted to check if I handled it correctly. Now, this person mentioned that she feels like her husband and her are in two different places or stages in their lives. While she wants to be the carefree one, who wants to be easygoing and have all the fun, he's in a place or space where he's thinking about generational wealth. She wants to have fun, she wants to go out, she wants to hang out and all. Now, it was a problem initially in that she would say, okay, this one you're looking for money like this, let you not go and make money, and at the end of the day, I will not be here to spend it on and all, because what you're looking for is money and what I'm looking for is presence. Now, it got to a point where he now started feeling bad that this one you are looking for presence and I'm looking for money. I want to be able to have money so that I can give you the life that I believe you can have. And she's like, wait, though, it's me that's looking for the life now. I want to be able to make my own money, but you are trying to do something for me. I'm able to do for myself while I'm expecting or requesting for something I cannot do for myself, which is emotional presence, you know. Now she got to a point where she was like, you know what, I'm not even waiting for approval or validation from you anymore. I want to be able to live my life, have fun. You're welcome to join, you're welcome to pay for it if you want, but make everybody just the it's not like from a place of conflict or from a place of I'm tired of waiting and also I was like, well, that's a good way to do it because in trying to get the person to play to your side, you are making them lose themselves. And in trying to wait for the person to catch up, they are losing themselves. That marriage does not mean that you should pause your life, right, and put it on hold till the other party is available. There are things you can still do together that he has time for. You do those while you create your own joy, basically. So I was thinking, hope I was not biased in my
Coaching is not
judgment.
about being coaching is not about being biased. It's not about being
Okay.
right. It's
Mm,
about asking the right questions. If I were you, I would only ask two questions. Number one, why did they get married? It's a question of
okay.
purpose. Number
Okay.
two, what is their family vision? What is their marital vision?
Mm,
I can
okay.
almost bet my life they don't have.
Mm,
So once a couple are not united behind the same vision, you will see symptoms. This one is this one. I want to make money to make my life. They are headed in different direction, and that's what is playing out. And let me
mm,
say this for all the practitioners listening to me. The moment the purpose for getting married is fulfilled, one person will be on their way out, and there is nothing you can do to stop them. For example,
mm,
if the purpose for getting married is to have a child, once that person has that child, the marriage is over. Except
mm,
they are able to open up to find a higher way. And that's why, guys, let me say this. Don't feel bad when they pay you and they still divorce.
mm.
Hospitals still collect money after the client is dead, don't they? Doctor will still
Yes, sir.
collect money. In fact, I love the way Bishop Oyedepo says this. So after collecting your money, they will not show up and say, we are sorry, she didn't make it. Right? Doctors are not emotional. And you understand. Why did you take your loved ones to the hospital? Was it because you were sure they were going to die? It was because you trusted the doctors to save them. Perpetually, people die in the hospital. And nobody says, return my money. Blah, 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 blah. So why should your own case be the exception? Right? So I have made peace with myself. Most of my clients who don't make it through my sessions, I have found out that the purpose for getting married is done. It's done. And there is nothing. They are just going to waste your time. So I would want to ask, why did they get married? I can predict the answers they will give you. And if you scrutinize the answer is selfish. Oh, you will even hear some of them, they will spiritualize it. It's because the Bible says it's not good for the man to be lonely. I don't understand. What does that mean, really, in practical terms? What does that mean? So you mean that without a spouse, you are going to be lonely? No, you can't be lonely. So the purpose for getting married has nothing to do with the other person. And any purpose for getting married, which is not with the view to improve the other person for the rest of your life, will be a selfish reason. It's only a matter of time. It's about what the two of you are able to do together. Right. And so why did we get married? I will tell you, 8 out of 10 couples I've worked with in 25 years cannot answer that question properly. Then where are we headed? What is the family vision? They don't have. Even when they tell you they have, tell them, give them 2 sheets of paper to write their answer separately. You will realize that they don't have. So I think that every other thing they are saying to you is symptoms. That fundamentals has not been addressed. And so inside that fundamentals will now be things like you now begin to check their culture compatibility, beliefs alignment. Why does she want to make her money? That is a trauma statement. It's coming from somewhere. She has seen something. Maybe she has seen her mother suffer, and then she doesn't want her mother absolutely dependent on her father. and you know that some men have become very terrible, have dealt with some women that their children have vowed never to repeat the same thing. So I think you need to go back and ask the right question. Yeah. Okay. Becky, I saw your hand up. That's the final person I'll take because I have a lot to cover tonight. Becky, what's your question? Okay, looks like Becky is out of the radar. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be teaching you how to break family patterns. Now, this is an approach I've not taught it openly before, never. I have used it for years, but I've not taught anybody before. So it's the first time I'm teaching this. It's an approach I created a couple of years ago. If you followed my write-up on LinkedIn a bit, you might be a bit familiar with it. I have written about it maybe once or twice, but why I'm teaching this is because I know that it's not something I've taught you in cloud, that is part of the certification program, but it's something that can help you. So what I'm going to recommend is, first, let me crave your indulgence. This session is usually 1 hour. So which means 2 p.m. my time or 8 p.m. Nigerian time, it should end. But I will need your permission to overshoot that time tonight because I can't finish it. We already asked questions, so I can't finish it in 30 minutes. And it will take me like maybe 90 minutes there. But so if I have your yes, type yes. If I have your name, say name. Let me be sure. Fulola Musu, I can see you. Good to see you. Okay, good. Looks like we have the yeses. Okay. Number 2, you are going to give offering. Offering that President is here. President is, I can see him. Okay, I didn't say that. So I take it back, Mr. President. Okay, guys, so let's go. Now, so I call it the GVCCRE approach, where G stands for guilt, where V stands for vow, where C stands for compensation, C stands for control, R stands for repetition, and E stands for entrapment. Right. Now, so what I'm going to ask you to do, I would have taken one person and just take the person through so that all of you can watch. But I think it will pay if all of you are doing it at the same time, right? So that we can all do it together, right? So make sure you have a sheet of paper in front of you. So you are going to put yourself as the client, right? And then we're going to do it together. So let's take this as a group therapy or group session. Now, breaking family patterns, Africans call something generational curse. Generational curse is reduced to maybe some families, they don't get married early, right? And so we begin to do deliverance. Or they die at a particular age, and nobody's asking what is it that they are feeding on that is making them die at that age, right? And then we do deliverance, and deliverance does work, right? However, in my sessions, I have seen a repeat of family patterns. I have seen people vow never to repeat their mother's life, their father's life, and with their eyes wide open, they've repeated the same experience. Their children are saying they won't repeat it, but I know they're going to land there. Right. So you want to pay attention. So I've tried to break it down in a way that it's easy to teach. Right. And so the first thing you need to understand about this session goal is divided into 4 stages, right? Is that you are helping the client uncover inherited emotional pattern, internalized family roles, and unconscious scripts that are shaping the emotional response, relationship, and decision-making, especially around womanhood, responsibility, and self-worth. Now, I'm using womanhood because most of the people I've used it for are women. In fact, maybe 99% of them are women. I still had one session yesterday on this issue, right? And, how do you explain that a woman, who is a medical doctor, sees her husband sleep around, give her infection, and then she's treating the infection, and the guy is threatening that he's going to go out and sleep with other people if she doesn't give him sex, and while treating infection, still allow the man to sleep with her? You know that that's not normal, right? I mean, if not that, for lack of a better word, if you're a Yoruba, they will say they have gotten the person. or that they're using some, because that's like a good person sees evil and doesn't hide himself. But if you don't understand trauma, you won't understand what the person is going through. And so those are the cases you hear, and people go on social media, she must be stupid. No, what is dealing with is beyond her. She's dealing with a generational pattern. And so the stages we're going to cover is family grid audit. That's stage 1 of this process. You map inherited emotion and gender pattern. I'll show you a simple way that I've figured out how to do it and what I do with my client. 2 is script discovery, identify and replace unconscious belief. C is where you now use the GFCCRE diagnostics, which unpacks toxic loyalty and entrapment cycles, then identity liberation, which is where you begin to reclaim your power and rewrite your history. Okay, so the first thing we do is that we look at the echoes your clients carry. So usually I time myself because I ensure that I don't go beyond 90 minutes, especially when I'm doing this, because I require a lot of response from my client. So you put yourself in the position of my client, right? So I start the process. I say a lot of things, but just say for the purpose of this, sometimes you are not reacting to the present, you are echoing the past. I still told the client just before I came online, who was blaming her husband, blaming her husband. And I asked her a simple question. Between your husband's family, where he came from, his father and his mother, and your father and the mother, who do you think are together? And she says her husband. I said, don't you think your husband has already mastered how to stay within the confines of a family, and you have not learned it? So the trauma from her past is trying to sabotage her life, and I can see it, but she can't say it yet. Right. And so let's start the process. What is one family trait you swore you will never repeat, but somehow you are repeating it? Can you write it down in your notes? Just one. You told yourself, I will not repeat it. In fact, you blame your parents for it, but now you're a parent, you're finding it in your life. Good. Now, next question. If your emotional patterns had a GPS origin, so all of us know what a GPS is, that's like a navigator. So if we have to map it back, where will they lead us to? So if we have to look at your navigator to say, where did this come from? Where did this behavior come from? Where do you think it will lead us to? Who will it lead us to? Would it be your mom? Would it be your father? Would it even be your grandmother? Can you write the answer? Fantastic. Now, the next thing I do, I ask my clients to wrap their hands around their body. So you can do that, because we're about to dig deep into them. So I ask you to take a deep breath and breathe out. Take a deeper breath and out. Now you're going to breathe in legacy and breathe out shame. So take a deep breath in and breathe out shame. Now I want you to whisper to yourself, I am going on a journey of freedom. And at the end of this journey, I'm taking my life back and I'm living my life on my terms. So help me God. Amen. Good. So open your eyes. So we go. Now, the first thing we do, or the second thing, is what we call family systems pattern grid. So usually that takes me about 25 minutes to 30 minutes, but we'll shorten it. Now, I said to my clients, you did not inherit the name of your parents. You also inherited their survival strategy. So I created a chart that helps them, which you're going to use. So you can recreate this chart on your sheet of paper. And so you have the role and pattern. You have the grandmother or grandfather, depending on who you inherited your patterns from. You have the mother or the father. You have the you. Then there are notes that you need to respond to. So we're going to audit 5 things, 5 patterns your emotional expression, your responsibility load, your conflict style, gender identity, and survivor beliefs, right? And so you are going to present a result for your grandparents, your parents, and you. Now, if you can't remember your grandparents, don't do anything about it, but at least you can remember your own parents. So we're going to start with emotional expression. How did your father or your mother or the person that you think you model, how did they express the emotion? Do you think growing up, the emotions were suppressed, explosive, or balanced? For your mother or your father, and if you knew your grandmother or your grandfather, you can feel for them as well. How did they express emotion? Then how do you express emotions? How do you currently express emotion? Now, looking at their answer, the answer you gave them and your answer, what do you think you have normalized? What do you think you have normalized? Have you normalized suppressing your emotions? Or you have normalized creating a balanced emotion? Or your emotion is explosive? Number 2 pattern, responsibility load. Say how you take responsibilities. Now, if you look at your father, your mother, if you look at your grandma, or whichever one of them, do you think when it comes to responsibility load, they overfunction or they self-sacrifice or they're able to say no? I can see Coach Ebony smiling. Are they self-sacrificing that they die for others to live? So your mom, your dad, or whosoever you think you're benchmarking, were they self-sacrificing or overfunctioning? What about you? Are you self-sacrificing, overfunctioning, or you're able to say no? So who carries the weight at the moment? You are not the firstborn, you are not the secondborn, but you're the one carrying the weight. Number 3 is the conflict style. What is their conflict style? How do they handle conflict? So if you look at your mom or your grandpa or your grandma, are they always silent? Are they violent or do they withdraw? When it comes to conflict, do they confront it? Do they withdraw? Or do they just keep quiet? Your mom, how does she handle it? Or your dad, how did she handle it? How did he handle it? And how do you handle conflict? Are you silent? Do you withdraw? Are you violent? Do you confront? Now, based on your answer and their answer, what are you repeating? Are you repeating their conflict style? Now we go to gender identity. What gender identity was modeled to you? Did they model that women must be submissive, assertive, confused? Or did they model that men must be ATM machine who must die for every other person to live? What did they model to you? What was their gender identity? Is it submissive, assertive, confused, responsive? What is your own gender identity? Do you think you are submissive, assertive, confused, or maybe you have become independent? Now, based on your answers, what messages were passed down to you? So that women must be submissive, or men must provide all the time, even when they want to die. Or that you must take responsibility, or you are the one. It might even be a prophecy that's been passed to you, that you are the one chosen to liberate your family. You became a sponsor. Because there are prophecies that actually are damaging to you that you don't know. They sound good. Why should you be the one to take responsibility for other people's responsibility? Now, survivor beliefs is the last thing there. Survivor beliefs. What are their beliefs? A woman must dash. Men are always dash. So what beliefs did they live by? I mean, I was having this session and one woman said that the belief she lived by, her mother says that even if your husband is sleeping with everybody, just be trusting God to change him. And that's what is repeating itself in a marriage. So what are their survival beliefs? Only prayer can solve everything. What God cannot do does not exist. Maybe. What are your own survival beliefs? And what beliefs control your life now? Okay, at this juncture, if you notice that you have areas that looks like you are repeating, can you type I? If you don't have any areas you are repeating, maybe you have dealt with it, can you type nay? Okay, interesting. Okay, fantastic. Someone know? Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, good. So we continue, we go to the next stage, which is stage 3. Now in stage 3, we do what we call emotional scripting analysis, because the lines you speak in life were written by someone else. So I always ask my clients, what did I learn was normal for women or men in my family growing up? Can you write the answer down on your sheet of paper? What did you learn was normal for a woman or a man in your family? Number 2, what did love look like when you were growing up? Based on your observation, what did love look like? One woman told me that love looked like cohabitation, no expression, public expression or display of affection. So she didn't expect it. What was success based on your observation? Oh, the marriage is successful. They stay together for 40 years. Is it staying together or being happy together? What was success? And what was silence? What are you supposed to keep quiet about? For example, where I come from, they have some terrible proverbs. It's inside your house that you eat a rat that has a big navel. You never tell outsiders what you are going through. So you see that pattern in some of us. You are dying, but nobody knows because you are still smiling. Because vulnerability is weakness. What was rewarded and what was punished? A woman told me what was rewarded was being serious. What was punished was being playful. And that was where her social life died. So she had no social life, only academic life. Now she's in marriage, no social life. Now, if you have answered all those questions, you're now going to create a chart. Based on your answers so far, what script do you think you have inherited? And what script do you want to choose from today? What script have you inherited? For example, maybe you have inherited, I must always be strong. And you want to choose, I'm allowed to receive help. Maybe you have inherited, I can't stand rejection, so I don't bother asking people for things. Maybe the new script is, I'm worthy of receiving help. Maybe the script you have inherited is, if you are weak as a woman, men will take advantage of you. What script are you choosing? Or maybe your script is, I'm only valuable when I'm useful. What new script are you choosing? Awesome. So now we are looking at where the glitch entered the system. Now, looking at your life right now, what are you guilty for that is not your fault? Right now, what do you feel guilty about? That is not your fault. One woman said she got married to her husband and it was a wrong marriage. And she was blaming herself, only to realize that it was because she didn't have a proper foundation. No love was extended to her. But yet she's blamed herself for it. Maybe you are blaming yourself for your husband going out. He's an adult, should be able to take decisions. What are you guilty of for that is not your fault? What secret vows did you make to never become like someone? What secret vows did you make to never become like someone? Who or what are you trying to control emotionally? Who or what are you trying to control emotionally? If you're trying to control your spouse, trying to manipulate your children. How are you compensating for another's absence, silence, or wound? How are you compensating for another's absence, silence, or wound? Oh, my parents didn't love me, so now you are overcompensating for it by loving your children excessively without drawing the line. Or you are in a second marriage, and then everything the other person didn't do, you're now overcompensating for it. What patterns are you repeating even though you hate them? What patterns are you repeating even though you hate them? What keeps you entrapped in circles you claim to be done with? So maybe some of you, you've told yourself, I'm done with that group, but then you're back there. I'm done with this person, but you're back there. I'm sure you have seen it happen over and over again. When you spend so much time with a client, say, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. The next moment, I saw one client like that. She told me her husband was bad. She was done. The guy was a pastor. The guy was beating her. The guy was doing everything. She came, we ran free session, said, PF, I am done. I'm repeating this pattern, blah, 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 blah. The next moment I saw on her birthday, the man gave her a brand new car. She started praising him on social media. Oh, what keeps you entrapped in cycles you claim to be done with? And that takes us to the fifth part, which is where we wrap things up a little bit. To say you were crowned before you knew the weight of the crown. So you're asking, were you the parentified child? The parentified child is usually that child in the family that everybody thinks is going to be the leader, is going to lead everyone, responsible. Is that you? Were you the one expected to succeed, fix, or save the family image? That usually happens for men. A role you didn't even know about, they just tell you are the one chosen. And so they've given you assignment that you are running with for the rest of your life. Did you become a mother or father to your mother or father? Is that the role you played? You now became a mother to your mother, a father to your father, or a mother to your father. So it's become your assignment, even though you knew nothing about it. And so you're going to get back to that state where you're going to close your eyes and wrap your arms around your body anew. You cuddle yourself. And I want you to replay everything you've done so far. Replay them in your mind visually. Replay them slowly. I want you to picture the person whose pattern you are repeating. I want you to look at how that person ended or where their person is at and ask yourself, is that where you want to land at that age? Is that how you want to end as well? Because that's exactly where you're headed. If there are two key decisions you need to take today, regardless of who gets hurt, who feels bad, who feels pained about your decision, if you have the opportunity of choosing yourself and taking your own journey in a direction that will take you to where you want to go, what will those two decisions be? I want you to literally see them in your mind. As you see it, I want you to say to yourself, as you wrap your arms around your body, patting yourself on the back, that I have a right to rest. I have a right to joy. I have a right to let go of the burden that doesn't serve me. I have a right to live my life. I decide today where I want to go, where I want to end. And I decide to let go of the burden. People don't have to like it, but it's the path I've chosen. For once I choose me, and I choose the life I really want, because I am worthy. I am loved, and I truly deserve to rest. Now, I want you to internalize what you have just said slowly. Let your soul receive it. Let it replay itself in your mind slowly. Let your entire body soak it in, internalize it. And I want you to see the free you in your mind. The girl, the man who is truly free, living life on her own terms, loving herself. The you without child, without husband, without wife, the you by yourself. Running at the pace you want to run, living the life you want. I wanted to see that to you and internalize that to you. Now, as you see that, I am going to ask two final questions still in that state. What voice from your past still echoes in some of the choices you were making before now? I want you to listen to those voices because you're about to let them go. Increase the volume and gradually fade the voices off such that you can hardly hear those voices anymore. Now, I want you to replace those voices with the voice of your own mind of the new you that you want, the new script you want to live out. And I want you to increase the volume of that voice so that it's so loud to you. Say, girl, you deserve the rest. You can do it. Finally, what family rule are you ready to break and rewrite? What family rule are you ready to break and rewrite? And what action steps can you take immediately to begin to live your new life? You're taking decisions in your mind. What action steps can you take immediately? Baby steps that you can take starting from this night, tomorrow morning. Where will you go? What will you do? What will you say to yourself? Who will hold you accountable? Who are you going to talk to that this is what I'm going to do from now? I want you to watch over me every week. Now you can open your eyes and come back to class. So I'm going to give you a task. You're going to write a letter to the women or men before you. Your dad, your mom. You're not going to send it to them. You're just going to write it. It's just simple exercise. You're going to thank them for all the patterns you inherited. You're going to acknowledge what you inherited. And in that letter, you are going to release what you no longer need. And finally, in the letter, you will declare what begins with you. You thank them in the letter, acknowledge what you inherited, release what you no longer need, and declare what begins with you. So that's your own play. You do that at home. Okay. So sometimes when I'm done with all those ones and they've written their letter, I ask them to create what we call a pattern board. Sometimes I prefer the digital one. I tell them to use images, words, or drawings to visually depict the emotional roles passed down in the family and what they're now building instead. So like two houses, toxicity, silence was passed down to me, but then they will have images that show that, hey, you're taking your life back. Now you are negotiating, now you are balanced, and now You are stating clearly what you want. Yeah, so that's it. How did that go for you? How did it feel? Who wants to talk? Who wants to share feedback? Yeah, so it's a simple, well, not that simple, because if I was doing with a one client, everything I'm asking, I'm reviewing with them, I'm checking them out, I am listening to them. Yeah, legacy conscious, yes. You raise your hand. Did you want to say something? Yeah, any question or
Okay.
anything? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you wanted us to answer verbally how the session went.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for this. It was quite introspective, and I kept quiet and just give me. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, it just gave me an incline to how far I have come, because rebellion has really helped me, seeing certain patterns and telling myself that no, I cannot continue like this. This ends with me, and kind of projecting to the future and say that no, how about now? This one cannot serve me, and trying to make sure I'm that person who makes sure that the cycle does not perpetuate. This framework just helps me give shape and stature to what I've been thinking. In fact, that's what my take on legacy conscious parenting is about, right? Making sure that certain things end with you and that new things begin with you. This is also encouragement that indeed we can be the beginning of healing and craft a blueprint for our future generations, beginning from us, can begin to live and lead, love, and parent. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Stella, Ayo, then Deborah. So Stella, let's start with you.
Good evening, sir. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
everyone. Okay, I grew up in a family where we lived in a family house. I'm from Port Harcourt, and in the Port Harcourt setting, if you're a Quere or one of the indigenes of Port Harcourt, we live in family houses. Father's brother, sister. So you see a lot of quarrels between father and his brothers, always quarreling over land and all those kind of things. Over the years, I've been pulling out from it was too much toxicity, whatever, like it was too much. As we're doing this now, I'm moving out of it quietly, and I'm a child that has suppressed so much emotion. But how do I pass this stage of, even when you see your uncles, you forget everything that they have done to you, or maybe you just erase it from your mind because it's still there. You want to go back and greet them, but you just know that there's that check in your mind that these people that have really not changed, though. Don't go too fast. How do you just surpass? Because you also want to help them come out of all of this bitterness, negativity, and then the children, those of us who are children now, live a better life to even greet your cousin. We don't have that relationship. We've all grown up, we don't talk to each other. If you even see one on Facebook, you pass. How do we pass through this? Just pass and don't hand over this to our children, because some of our children don't even know our cousins.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. You see, at the stage you are in, I'll respond to you with a story. I used to, if you have been following me on Facebook, I'm running a series called My One Night Stand, which was me helping prostitutes out of prostitution and helping young people in Ajegunle many years ago. When I wanted to get married, I felt, let me rent a house close to Ajegunle so that I can help them more. So I went to meet my mentor. I said, I'm burdened about these people. I don't want to be far away from them. And you know what he said to me? My mentor said, he showed me a picture, an image of liver and a pulley. Now, the elephant was on one side, a human being was on the other side. So he asked me, who will be up, who will be down? No brainer. The elephant will be down, the human being will be up. So he said, what must the human being do for the elephant to be up, for him to be down? I couldn't answer the question because even if he had all the food in the world, he's still not going to be. He said the only way is to move far away to extend the liver, far away. Now, he said, when you want to help people, you don't help them by getting close to them. You help them by going far away from them. The farther away you go, the more you meet new people, the more you become empowered, then the more you're able to help them. Let me tell you, you are the only one going through therapy. You are the only one that has gone through this thing that you're going through. They have not gone through it, so they are not likely going to change. You cannot be responsible for them. You can't be responsible for the pattern they've passed. You can be responsible for yourself and your immediate family. Now, does that mean you want to extend the bowel of mercy to them? No, extend bowel of mercy if you can send them stuff, if you can, and then understand that people do the best they can with what they knew. If they knew better, they would act better. They don't know better. That's why they've done everything. So you need expanded awareness for them to see them from a position of empathy, right? But then that empathy is not to now call you back to now say you want to go and be doing healing. In fact, if you're a Christian, you'd realize that the only place Jesus could not do any miracle was in his own place because they knew him. So sometimes you may not be able to heal your immediate family, all right? But then life gives you another family, and you need to embrace that new family they're giving you. For some of the cousins that can meet themselves and relate with themselves, that'll be fine. But hey, I don't think that's a task you want to embark on, because at the end of the day, it may drown you and take you back to where you don't want to be. Yeah. Ayo.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much, PF. I'm not asking a question. I missed slide number 4. I just want to capture that slide. So if you
$100.
can please.
$100. Okay. Yeah, Ayo, I'll respond to you. Yeah, Deborah, I can see your hands.
All right. Good evening, Coach. Thank you so much for this session. It was really, really insightful and very helpful for me. There were so many questions that I didn't think I needed to answer, or I didn't even have an idea. But going through this session was very helpful. And I have 2 questions. So the first is the very first set of questions that had to do with answering based on mother or father. The first one says, who you took after. Is it possible to take different traits from either father or mother?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you take the reference, you add the other person to it.
Okay. All right. So secondly, this one is personal for me. Going through, there was a part where you said, what did love look like growing up? And honestly, my honest answer was chaos. And thinking about it now, or I've been thinking about it for a very long time, but I don't know. So I just thought to ask, there are some things that I feel like I really want to tell my parents that they don't have an idea about, based on the kind of environment that I grew up in and how it affected me, how it affected my siblings. But I'm not sure if I should, or if it's something that I should just heal from and just.
Okay. If healing would mean you need to go sit with them and exhale, we call that process exhale. If you think that will help, you are not blaming them, because if they knew better again, they will act better. So it's not as if they sat down and said they were going to make your life tough or make life difficult for you. No. They did everything they could based on what they knew. But it might be good for you to externalize it and let them know this was how we felt, and this is how it affected us based on what happened. It might be closure for you. It might also be closure for them, because they might be able to say, or maybe they are sorry. But make sure that you're not accusatory when you're having that meeting, so that they don't continue to blame themselves for the rest of their lives. There are things even our children will look at us and say, maybe our parents could have done better. Life is always continuum, right? So that's why I don't totally blame people because again, if they take this session, they will also see what they are dealing with that they didn't pay attention to. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, PF, I said number 4, please. You're showing me number 3.
Star Latifa. I think that's the final.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, PF. Thank you for this insightful session. I just want to pour out my thoughts. The first time I met you, I saw you, sorry, not met you one on one. What you always advocated for was, the family, knowing up to the fourth generation, that our children should know up to the fourth generation. But there's something I've noticed in Nigeria. We have the worst approach to widowhood. Yeah. So, and there's nobody, no child will see his or her mom being maltreated and want to go back to the father's relative, or even if it's the mother's relative. There is so much toxicity. This is what I have experienced. And sorry.
I'm so sorry.
And I've also met many people who have gone through these things. Like if I'm speaking to people and say, oh, I also lost my father at a very young age. We have this pain in common as orphans. So, and this thing is destroying families seriously.
Yeah.
And it makes people, thank you, my son is patting my head. And it makes people kind of, they kind of disintegrate, or do I say disconnect from their roots. You see people change. I've seen people change their family name to their father's first name. I've seen people claiming their mother's state of origin instead of their father. And these things are destroying families. This widowhood. So how can we? I'm doing my best. I talk about it on Facebook when that's where I talk most. When they did this last widowhood, International Widows Day, I did something about it. It's really destroying families beyond the other things we are seeing, beyond the digital problems we are having. This in particular is destroying families because it's like when a woman loses her husband, she has lost her rights totally. So I just want to say that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salatifa. It's what you've said is very valid. We still have some terrible aspect of our culture that, gaslight, not just gaslight, molest widows. And we need to do something about it. Now, when we say go back and trace your ancestry, it's not because we feel the ancestry is perfect. It's because there's a treasure in that ancestry that even the custodians lost or they didn't pay attention to, right? And so if you look at life through the prism of what they did to you, right, you are not going to get a total picture. If you look at it from the prism of who you have become in spite of that pain, it shows a better picture. To say, if I do an helicopter view of what has happened, maybe if they had not done what they have done, you won't meet the new people, you won't do some of the work you're doing right now, right? So they would think they were doing evil, but God is turning it out for your good, as it were, right? And that's the way I love to, because you can be at cause or be at effect. Be at effect means we keep blaming. Being at cause to say, okay, this thing happened. They didn't know better. If they knew the treasure they carried in who I was, they wouldn't have done that. But now they've done it. Who have I become? This is who I've become. So to God be the glory. And then because your wholesomeness is the best feedback or clapback you can give to evil people. All right. However, when we say go through the ancestry, you will find out that there could be one man in the ancestry, maybe was a pioneer, who was an industrialist. So we're not saying they're looking at the ancestry to go back there, right? We're looking at it to look at, okay, this is what has happened, and then to recreate the story in a way that promotes our wellness. Basically, so that's what it is. But I'm really, really sorry for what you've had to go through. If you need some further help, let us know so that we can get someone to work with you. Yeah.
I've gone over it, but my problem is when I hear people like it's like it reminds me when I hear stories. Like for example, one of my brother who is a teacher called me some days back that there was a boy who could not pay his school fees, that the father died and the father's relative have taken everything, and the mother is even at the point of depression and all that. So that's like, PTSD for me again. I've gotten over it. It's over 20 years. Tomorrow makes it 22 years. Yes, tomorrow makes it 22 years. But when I see these pockets of experiences again, I'm like, for crying out loud, even then, 2003, we say, okay, things are now 2025. Are we still supposed to be doing this?
No, culture is, you can't do, culture is very tough to break. That's why we say that When you do strategy and you place culture side by side with strategy, we say culture is strategy for breakfast. However, what you can do, can you start a fund, for example, and get people to donate, and that fund will be specifically for people who are going through those kind of things. You can never tell what that can grow into. I always believe in responding to issues, right? Okay, now we've seen this problem. It's likely not going to go away, maybe because of the people involved or because they're shielding them. Or can we get an association of lawyers together who can defend these people and charge them to court and ensure that, like, for example, if this was happening in Lagos, we can refer them to the Office of the Public Defender or DSBA or whatever, and we ensure that we collect what we need to collect from them. But it's not like that in every other state of the Federation. But what can we do? Can we set up a framework? I mean, everybody who's close to me knows that when I say a problem, we set up framework for it. That was how we started Sunshine Up. That was how we started Family Center. So what can you do? There are a couple of other people you can. It becomes a cause, a mission, and you won't be able to help everybody, but you might be able to provide support for a few because they will need psychosocial support, they will need financial support. You can never tell what that is capable of becoming. So take on the assignment. Stella, can we have you?
So sorry, PF. I didn't finish one. As Latifa started talking, I just knew that, okay, I actually registered for this course because I am a child that needs a lot of help. I came from a family, my dad was a drunkard until he died. So if you talk about love, I didn't know anything called love because he wasn't even available. He needed a lot of help. My mother was the father, she was everything. So you expect that she was under a lot of pressure all the time. And the family too had their own issues. So there was a lot of fights. I can never remember being hugged as a child. Never. Like, hugged for what? What's going on that you are hugged? The family was always under tension. Okay. Now I'm married and you expect to give love and receive love, and you're wondering what's wrong with you that you cannot. I love my children. Now I hug them. But sometimes they smile when they see me hug their daddy because it's like, oh, it's just happening for some time, So I'm asking, how do some people who grow up in those kind of environments now receive love? How do they even learn how to love? Yeah, you're doing a lot trying to help others, but you know that you are a child that was starved of love all your life.
The easiest way is adoption. Find a loving family to adopt you. Or go talk to a family that you think is a model family, get them to adopt you. That's the fastest and the easiest way. If you were not born into a kind of family, then look for adoption. That's the second option. What that would mean is a place where you can call home, where you can go and you are accepted absolutely here. You are loved without reservation here. You are loved without any string attached. They mean well for you. They want the best for you. That's the easiest way. The other way is to begin to learn how to love, and that would mean you working with maybe a coach, and they'll give you some roadmap. They'll give you some, because the first level of love is loving yourself. All right. Many of us can't love ourselves. We love God, we love other people, but we can't love ourselves, which means we're not kind to ourselves. And so someone will need to create strategy for you and give you assignments and tasks that can begin to show kindness to yourself. And that's the other way. But the fastest way is to seek adoption. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Lavender, you have raised your hand. Coach Ebo. Where is she? Coach Ebo. You need to, okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, PF, for this beautiful one. I just wanted to respond to what Latifa Ajetumobi said. And I think I have written something in the chat session. A lot of times, some of us just go through our challenges and we just feel, oh, I am okay, not knowing that some of these things that we go through, some of these experiences that we go through, they're not just to go through them, but they are experiences, they are tools in our hands that we can use to help others. Listening to her, and I just felt if Latifa can come out to share her story, and she's saying it, she's sharing her story not from a place of pity, but to create an awareness. And as you do that, you let people know that there are some people going through this, shedding the lights, putting the spotlight on those cases that you see that triggers you. Those triggers are not meant to bring you down. They are not meant to affect you emotionally again, but I want to believe they are lights. They are telling you to do something about those situations that you're reading online. And those are the things that the United Nations and all these NGOs support. So if you can come out to talk about what happened to our Ojefo, for more than almost 10 years now, while Jelfo has been talking about her mental health state and all that, and she sits in high places getting fundings for people who have mental health issues. She does not even have a direction like that. But see, I'm saying that your experiences are tools in your hands to help people. Please don't let us just go through things and keep quiet and just leave it. We need to use it in an empowering way to help other people. If you come out, share your story, and you say you want to raise money for people who are going through this, you see how people will come up for you. And gradually we'll be killing that culture. When United Nations come out to talk about equality and all that, this is what they're talking about, to say, let's use it in an empowering way. Sorry for taking your time. Thank you, PF, for that.
Thank you very much, Coach Ebon. And let me just say this carefully. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. I am not sure United Nations even plan to solve problems, right? And that's why I keep saying to Africans, we are the ones who can solve our problem by ourselves. United Nations is being formed. There has been more wars. There have been more issues. There have been more cases. Girl child have been empowered now. Nobody's talking about the boy child. So empowered women are going to marry disempowered men. Why can't they empower everyone together? So we have to understand. You see, this notion that abroad people are going to help us or they mean well for us, it's never been, right? For if they take one thing, they are collecting 10 things. So we need to begin to respond to whatever problem we see by ourselves, and then let's trust God to help. I mean, we've never received funding. Maybe tomorrow we'll now start getting funded, but we've done the impossible with the available, all right? So thank you, everyone. Before we go, I will share. So I have this book. It's out now on Amazon. Family System Engineering Coaching Compacts is an entire framework on coaching scripts. You want to create a dream team. What do you ask? What question? What do you ask the client? Like all kinds of coaching scripts, therapy in there. So if you are familiar with DSM, it's like a type of DSM. So the hardcover is available on Amazon if you're outside of Nigeria. But if you are within Nigeria or Africa, is the e-copy you can get. So if you go on Seller/Family Systems Coaching Compacts, you will be able to get it on Seller, and then it will be you would have it in your inbox, and then you can use it. It's copy and paste. See, when you're working with clients, right, like what I just shared right now, you can copy it and just use it. You are on Zoom, the client is not saying what you're saying, but you are just asking the question, and then sometimes I share my notes with my mentees. If you see my notes, if I have a 9 week session, I plan each session intentionally. So I always save those notes, right? So you have something like that here. Then from January, people have asked for our out-of-the-box parenting model to use, especially for those who are doing parenting coaching. So if that is you want a framework you can work with, we're doing a licensing program from January. So you can join the wait list. Just put your name. It doesn't require you to pay anything for now. Just do the wait list. We'll get you more details. It's not free anyways. But we need to be sure that the people joining are very serious. So you're going to have everything, coaching materials, slides, videos, everything I've learned on parenting across 25 years. You're going to be able to use it for yourself and use it for your community. All right. So you can go sign up there on the wait list. And this one, you can order for it by yourself. I think that will be all. So we will have another session next month by God's grace, last Thursday of next month. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free, the thing I taught you today, feel free to, I can tell you every client you're going to work with, you will find someone who has that need. All right. So just replicate it and let us know how you work with your client. Let us know what they're saying about it. And let's see what we do next month. And if there's anything you want me to address, please kindly shoot me a mail and let us know how we can support you. But Family System Engineering Compact, Coaching Compact is out. You can go get it. And then if you want to be licensed, choose also the Box Parenting Suite. Do a wait list. Thank you very much. I love you all. It's been nice sharing again with you today. I'll see you very soon. I really want to come to Nigeria. I miss Nigeria. So Bulama, tell government to give me appointment. I want to come. All right, I love you all, my American people. Let's find time to catch up. All right, bye
Thank you,
bye.
PF.
Thank you, Pierre.